Hi, welcome to the 5th episode of the Icarus Idea. This episode we're talking about the solar team with Francis van Elburg. Okay, so welcome back. Thank you so much for listening. In case you're wondering, where have you been, Joris and Jean, and the Icarus Idea? Because if we're counting months and if we're counting episodes, then you might have noticed there's something going wrong here. We have had some minor issues with other episodes. We've been working hard on getting some stuff out, but let's say technical difficulties have caused us...
unfortunately.
Not to be so successful. But we're back now. And we got Francis van Elburg here from the solar team.
Yeah, she has put her blood, sweat and tears into building the Red E.
Yeah, we did.
Solar car of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome. You started your bachelor's here at the University of Twente.
Yeah,
Industrial Design Engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And after 3 years, you started working on the solar car. And we're going to talk about it today.
Yeah.
But
great.
But first, Puntje of the month.
Puntje of the month. You want to explain what Puntje of the month is real short again? Or
Yeah, sure. Puntje of the month is a short discussion about a thing that we found interesting or inspiring. Just some news or something that we came across in real life, and we're going to share that with you.
Do you want to start, Francis? You want to just get right into it?
Yeah, all right. Well, it's funny because you guys asked me what my Puntje of the month was to prepare it. So I was thinking, I have no idea. So I went to the internet and I searched on Google, of course. Yeah. So I searched for new inventions, and you would not guess what I came up with. It's so much fun because there were shoes. But shoes in which you can walk if you really love to walk barefoot. So it's a shoe without the sole.
Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of a shoe?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. So how is this a new invention? Yeah. How is it even designed? So I'm always thinking everything I see, somebody thought about this object. So there are people who think, what's the function of it, and how does it work, and what does it look like? And then you design a shoe without a sole, so people can walk barefoot without showing it to people.
Okay, I've got a friend who has a pair of shoes. Which kind of feel like you're walking barefooted, and he says that that's better for your foot. It's like because you're built for walking on barefooted, actually. Yeah. Due to
maybe that's something. But I was thinking about why would you why do you want people to not see that you're walking barefoot
but still want to walk barefoot?
And it's a new invention. Yeah,
it's very new. It must have been patent pending. So that's my Puntje of the month. But let's just put this in a student's perspective real quick. I don't know how your living room looks, or let's say some kind of bar at the university. There might be some form of glass or other sharp objects on the floor. Why would you want this?
Yeah, I have no idea.
What's the goal?
I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'm not so far yet.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good one, I think.
Okay, thanks.
I like it too.
Sean, you want to go?
Yeah, for sure. We were riding back from Switzerland, and I crossed the gas station, and we're just filling up a car, and then I looked to the right and I saw like this row of cars, and it was not like, we're not normal cars, but it was a row of Teslas, and they were all waiting to charge their car to get back to the Netherlands. So I was like, okay, something went wrong here. But we're all like Dutch cars, and like they were waiting for hours to recharge their car, and I was like, oh shit, we definitely have to do something about infrastructure, or
I think so too.
Like make the batteries better.
And
But
make it go
we can have a whole
faster
discussion
and-
about this, but I think we just move on to yours.
It's a nice one.
My pinch of the month is from France, and it's from Citroën. I think you all know the car brand. Yeah. And what they have come up with something, let's say, new. You can now rent a car, very unique and new. But the idea is you can rent a car on a subscription basis. So you pay a certain fee for a month, and then you get to use a car. But it's not just a car; it's an insanely tiny car. So I don't know why you'd pay for it, but okay. And it's so small that you don't need a driver's license. So it's now possible from the 30th of March, you can rent a car. Being 14, 15 years old, you can just rent it and you can just start using it in Paris or where you want in France. You can just start driving around. You just start participating.
Haven't they got like this age limit or?
Apparently not. It's like a moped or a scooter.
Can you still call it a car?
It looks like a car.
Question.
Yeah, probably.
It's like if you have a bike frame and then put a car frame around it in the shape of, well, some kind of somewhat futuristic car, then you have the thing. It's called the Ami, I think. So it's like the friend, like the Zoe of the Citroën friend.
All right.
And you can just chill with it, I guess, and drive around in some kind of really tiny can. And I don't know. Yeah, I found it really weird that they just created a car that you can use without a driver's license. Like, what the hell is that?
I wish it was in my time when I went to high school. So I always needed to ride the bike for 11 kilometers to my high school. It would be great, right?
Yeah, it would be chill. You can
Maybe it's for these people.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be for everyone. They had this description saying that it should be gender neutral.
But is it like a
Okay.
swap feed that you?
Yeah, it's kind of a swap
Is it
feed,
yours or is it like that you share it with other people?
I don't really know actually, but you can rent it, so I guess you get it. You can also buy it for yourself, and it's like 6,000 euros, which is
That's pretty expensive.
But I think you can use it just for yourself, which is quite quite chill. It's like 19 euros a month. That is almost the same as a swap feeds, but then you get a car.
But is it electric?
Yeah, it's 100% electric.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty chill.
Nice.
Yeah, so that kind of struck me. I was doubting between that and just a fun fact about Chinese symbolism, but I went for the car.
I'm curious about the Chinese symbolism. Why did you do that, George?
I just wanted to tease you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so Francis, you've been marketing and events manager from the solar team, right?
It was mainly focused on the marketing and communication and PR. So, yeah.
Okay.
Press contact.
Why did you decide to partake in this? Why did you decide to? It's more than a year, right? You take away a year.
Full time, and then also, well, some say it's a project for your entire life, so you're always a little bit connected with the team. So yeah, it feels that way. Yeah.
Okay, but why did you, that's quite a decision to just start doing that, right?
It is. Well, it's a funny story, I think, because the first time I saw something of the car was at the university, but also at home, because my grandfather always watches the TV and is always very interested in high-tech innovations. And so in 2017 there was a film crew who made a documentary about the race, and it was sent after the news. And he always watched that, and he was always saying, "Oh yeah, so the solar team is really good, and they're like 5th." And I was like, "Yeah, grandfather," but actually I didn't really know. I thought, it is great. It's a nice team. So then I saw they were looking for new members, so I signed up for the interest list. And then I didn't do anything with it. So, I was like, it's nice, but it's a long time, and I'm going to do my master's, and was excited about that too. So I didn't apply, and then I met a friend of mine who was in the 2017 solar team, and I met her in the supermarket, and she was like, "Hey, Francis, why didn't you apply? Because I saw your name on the interest list, but I didn't see your application." And I was like, "Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know.
It was awkward.
It was a great moment.
So she was like, okay, we're going to drink a cup of coffee and I will tell you everything about it, and then you really need to think about it because it's so great and I think you should apply for it for the team. So we had a cup of coffee and she told me everything. And then I was like, oh yeah, maybe I should apply for the team because it's a great team. And she said, okay, you can apply like this week. The deadline was already over, but she was okay, we can give you a little bit of time. Then I decided I told my parents and they were very enthusiastic, and my grandfather was very enthusiastic.
Yeah, of course.
Grandfather was hyped as well.
Yeah, that's why I sent my application, and then I also joined the team eventually. So,
Dang.
yeah.
Now, what did the friend of yours tell you that like convinced you to? Was it
that's a
one
great
thing?
question.
Or?
Yeah. Well, I think it's she was very enthusiastic, so that's one thing. And she was communications manager, so she was also telling a little bit more about the communications team. And I didn't really know there was such a team in the entire solar team. So I was thinking it's very technical, and you really need to build the car on your own. But there's a lot more that's also part of the solar team. And that's something that was, I was interested in the greater picture of the team. I think that was a little bit the idea. And of course, that's the whole experience with building your own car and all the people you're going to work with and going to Australia and joining a big worldwide race and meeting all those people. Yeah, that's great to hear. So you can be part of that, and why wouldn't you do it?
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds really good. I was quite interested in what kind of industrial design engineering skills did you use?
So yeah, for me it was a little bit different than really building the car because I was in the communications team. So what we did was thinking about, okay, what do we want that people know about the team? So what are we going to communicate to our partners, to our supporters, the people who follow us on social media? So that's one thing I think you also learn at industrial design engineering about, okay, I'm going to make a design, but what does my target group want? And that's something we need to do here too. But a little bit differently because it's not about a product you're making for a target group, but the story you're going to tell. And next to that, I did a lot of writing, but also making content like visually. The technical team members are working on a technical project, but how are we going to translate that to a story that's, understandable for people who are not from the university, or my grandfather, for example,
Who watches TV.
my family or other friends. So that's a little bit about, thinking what are we going to tell? That's one of the skills I also learned a little bit in my studies and really could use during my team. Besides that, I did a lot of graphic design. So also the artwork of the solar car. I get the possibility to make this design. So that's also something, I learned some graphic designing skills in my studies, and I used it a lot during my solar team year,
So just to get this clear, like everything we see on the outside of the car, you thought about what to put where?
Well, not everything. Like the whole shape is mainly because of the aerodynamics of the team and where the wheels are and how everything looks and the whole solar array. But everything that's visually, like where are the logos, what are the shapes of like the lines on it, and a little bit making a racing car out of it. That's my work.
Oh, damn, that looks pretty good, I think.
Thank you.
I just had a look at it. It looks very fluent.
Yeah,
it accentuates let's say the curves.
Yeah, that was a little bit the idea. So it's great.
Good job, though.
It's like I've helped building the solar car for a week.
Yeah, cool.
It was really cool, and it was like an amazing experience because the first thing I noticed was that you put a lot of effort in building the solar car. That's like, I got really amazed about the fact that you're working there from 8 o'clock till 8 in the evening. Then you go home, eat, sleep, and repeat. It's like crazy. Yeah. And I was like pretty like overwhelmed by that week, just helping 5 days. So yeah, that's really cool. But I remember joining a session about thinking how to build an event and using your creative knowledge into coming up with crazy ideas to make your sponsors enthusiastic about the car and the review of the car and stuff like that. So it's what I really liked and remember from the week that I helped.
Yeah, nice.
But my question is totally different.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a side story. But another thing that amazed me was about the car itself. That you put a lot of effort into the car, and I've thrown away waste buckets worth of thousands of euros because it wasn't used anymore.
While you were working on the car, or just
building it.
Okay.
For the production phase, they needed help, so I helped building the car and helping them all. But you've got a lot of waste, and you're shipping it from the Netherlands all the way to Australia, and it's like there's a lot of waste is produced, and a lot of money is wasted actually. Yeah. What do you think about the whole vision of the solar challenge?
Well, that's a really good question because
it's a dangerous question.
Yeah, it's a dangerous
one. Yeah, it is.
I'm really curious.
But also a great one because it's something we are really thinking about nowadays. You see it everywhere. The whole environment is changing, and what can we do about it? And the whole thing about the solar challenge is creating awareness for solar cars and what is possible, and also going a little bit further with technology in this field. But yeah, if you look at the whole project, you would say, is it that sustainable at all? Well, I would say now it is not, because we are flying to Australia and there's a lot of waste. But it's all about getting awareness for solar energy. And we believe in a solution in solar power. With all the possibilities we have and all our partners to come up with ideas who could be very interesting in society in a few years maybe. So it's also a plan for more years than this 1 or 2 years. Besides that, I think it would be nice if we think a little bit more about, how can we make the whole project a little bit more sustainable? So maybe we can do something with the waste, or maybe we can make a car that is more recyclable, for example, or maybe we can share a little bit more about our knowledge of solar energy. So that are things we are really thinking about. And that's also something last year we started with this. One of our visions was also do something for the sustainability and maybe put the first steps in sharing our knowledge a little bit more with the entire world. And we really hope that the new team from September on, there will be a new team, that they will expand this vision and they will put it even further. And these are very small steps, but I think we can get to very interesting innovations and solutions.
Okay. So if I get it right, so far the focus has been on spreading a message or a certain amount of, awareness?
Yeah.
Of sustainability and the power of solar energy.
Yeah.
And now you're somewhat transforming into being yourselves actually more sustainable as well.
Yeah, I think we should go there, but that's also a very personal vision. But I guess we will get there with the team in a few years. And I think that's also something that more solar teams are thinking about. And we are doing great things in this problem statement. We need a solution to be more sustainable. So, and we're doing something about it in the solar world. So, I think we can get there. Yeah.
I think it would be pretty cool if you
it would
actually did some, you recycled the entire car and still won or something. That would be like a real flex on the other teams.
I think my technical team members are like, oh, I have no idea if it's even possible.
That's how you know it's valuable. If no one knows how to do it.
Creative ideas, right?
Okay, just a curious question, because I know that old solar team members are participating in races all over the world. Like, you have got a couple of races in Belgium.
One other race in Belgium.
And old solar cars participate in that race.
Yeah.
Does the Red E also participate? Is it like repaired?
Not yet.
But it's going to be great.
It's going to be. Yeah, there's a new race in September, I think. It's the European Solar Challenge. Yeah. And last year, in 2018, we started as a new team. And we drove with Red Shift, the one from 2017, as a new team. And then our former team members were driving in the car of 2015. We became first and second, so that was very nice. Yes. We really would love to that our new team members from the 2021 team who are starting in September are going to participate this race with our car Red E, of course. So that is something we're working to. Yeah.
Nice. There's another competition in the solar races. That's from the competition with station wagons.
Oh, like the family car.
Yeah,
the family
true.
car.
Yeah.
Last year you participated with the Red E in the fast challenge.
Yeah, the Challenger class.
Class, and other teams, for example, Eindhoven, participated in the station wagon.
The cruiser class.
The cruiser class. I forgot. Sorry. Why didn't you participate in the?
Ooh, that's also
in the cruiser class.
A nice question, because they are talking with the wrong person, I guess. Because I'm really, really enthusiastic about the cruiser class, because I also would love the whole interior design and the really sustainability is there. It's so much more for the real user, like the family car. People are thinking in this class about how is it user friendly, and so it's more industrial related. Yeah. So I'm really enthusiastic about it. And at the beginning of our team, I was like, okay, people, could we also go to the cruiser class?
You actually suggested that?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So now I'm still like, okay, people, maybe the next team, But I think the Challenger class is very interesting for the technical engineers, because there we can really do new things, like new innovations. Really, we also say the challenge triggers innovation. So wanting to be the fastest solar car in the world, this also is a trigger for the team to be really innovative and really think out of the box, and new innovations, new technologies to design them and develop them. And these new technologies can be really interesting for everybody, for the new solar car, for you and me. So I think that's the great thing about participating in the Challenger class. But I'm still a little bit, how do you say that? I'm very enthusiastic about the cruiser class too. Okay.
Now, I think part of the critique on the Challenger race as a whole is that how much innovation is still going on. Because when I look at the car, it looks kind of the same for a few years. Is all the innovation going on under the hood? Do you have an example of some innovation that might have been going on?
Yeah, well, it's something I think many people will ask themselves, because they really look like each other. Yeah. They're all red. No, but they're all catamaran cars. Yeah. So there are two models. There's a bullet car, the monohull also called, and the catamaran car. And we always choose for the catamaran because we have a lot of experience in building this car, and we don't see really big differences between those shapes in the aerodynamics. But last year, maybe if you put the car of 2019 besides the one of 2017, it's a lot smaller. So that's something that is from the outside really visible. Mm-hmm. And that is because of a new type of solar cells. So firstly, we always use silica cells. Mm-hmm. So these are also the parts on roofs. So when you will buy a solar panel on top of your house, then it's probably this type of solar cells. Okay. But last time we used gallium arsenide cells. These are the type from space travel.
It sounds like it's from space.
Yeah.
Gallium arsenide.
So these cells are a lot more expensive, but also a lot more efficient. And this is why the car could be a little bit or much smaller. Because the regulations say you can use 2.64 square meters of gallium arsenide cells on your car, and you can use 4 square meters of silica cells on your car. So it's a lot smaller, but this is to make sure that all cars have a little bit the same income from their solar panel. But the advantages of that is that your whole solar car could be a little bit smaller, and this is very interesting for your aerodynamic outcome of your car. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the innovations that was really interesting last year. We also used a technique where we overlapped the solar cells a little bit. So the whole surface was even more efficient than only using the cells beside each other. So if you really want to know everything about it, just ask one of my team members. But
the technical stuff.
Yeah, these are things that we are working on. And of course, there's also a lot going on inside the car. The whole wheel suspension was really completely redesigned. But also the technical system was a lot of new innovation in it. And we used another type of battery. So things like this are... for us, it's possible to, how can I say that, to try it out, like being sort of a playground for engineers and using new techniques and new components and see what happens. And it's all possible in our project, so that's great. Yeah.
I like the sound of a playground for engineers a lot.
Sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds really
fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you, as an industrial design engineer, I wanted to put this question in the following way, but I'm reconsidering it now. Did you have any added value in the sense that industrial design engineers are supposed to be like the creative ones, right? Uh-huh. Oh, we got this idea, maybe we can do that, and then you have the stereotypical technical stuff, which is way more straight to the point, right? Mm-hmm. Now you say that you have this playground feeling. Even though you were not in the technical team, did you still contribute in the creative area of finding solutions?
Like for a real car?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do that much because you're all really working on your own tasks, and also for the communications teams, it is a lot. So we were thinking about design presentations and our social media channels, and our hands were full with that. Mm-hmm. But there were possibilities where the technical team members asked for, hey, maybe you want to think about some solutions, and it was really small. I don't know even what it was, but there was a time I did some sort of a brainstorm with them. So it is possible, and maybe if you are an industrial design engineer and you're really interested in that, it's possible to do that in this team. But because you've really your own tasks and things to do, it doesn't happen that much.
So as an industrial design engineer, you would, of course, still be suitable, but you chose a different role, and hence it was limited in that sense. I chose the communications team, so I was really busy with the communications team. But if you want to be part of really building the car, and you have like very much experience in mechanics or something like that, then it is possible. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Just like to make sure to the people that are listening, that are wondering, I'm an industrial design engineer. Am I any good for the solar team, right?
Yeah.
They
really.
are, of course.
A nice example is in the year before, 2017. 2017, our technical manager was a industrial designer. So, yeah, that's a totally different role than I did. But yeah, it is possible. So, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool.
You mentioned in forehand that people who joined the solar team do some interesting stuff after the solar team.
Yeah.
When they finished.
What
do they do?
What did
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my story is maybe not that interesting, but because I'm just doing my industrial design engineering masters now.
Well, don't be too humble.
Oh, it's very nice. It is nice. Yeah,
I do like it, though.
I really like it. I love it. Yeah, but there are people who are still really working with the solar team itself. So many technical team members are still working on components of the solar car, of the new car. So it's like a big community. We'll also always say it's like a family. So that's really nice. And there are a lot of people working in great companies or starting their own companies, also in sustainability. So you can see that some projects that started inside the solar team during their projects, they are still developing those components. So that's really great, I think.
You get some kind of spin-off then, or just how does that work?
Well, how it works now is mainly that there are partners involved with the solar team, and there are a few of our technical team members who are working with the partner now within as an employee and working on projects they started during the solar team project. So.
All right.
This is also the way how innovations of the solar car can get
to the next level.
Yeah, to like the new solar car, maybe the commercial side. Yeah.
Really cool. I feel. Do you have like a concrete example of someone that did something crazy after the solar team?
Well, there is one team member who is creating MPPTs, but the word is maximum power point trackers.
What?
And it's something that's used in a solar panel. Yeah, and the whole technical thing about it, I can't really tell you. But yeah, it's nice to see that he's like sort of creating his own company. And there are a lot of other solar teams in the world who going to his company and asking, oh, can we maybe buy your MPPTs?
Hey.
And he's like, yeah, of course.
Give me the money.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, that's really great. There, like the example I talked a little bit about in the previous question is some of the electrical engineers who was part of 2017. And he's now working on a motor controller unit at a company, a partner company. So he's still working. I think he's still working on that project, but maybe he's doing totally different things too. But yeah, he is still really connected to the team and also helping us during 2019 and probably also helping the new team with the development of this component. So these are great. Great examples.
Pretty good examples,
It's all a little bit vague because I'm not really deep into the technical stuff about it.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't know for sure what they're doing now. But yeah, there are a lot of great examples of very intelligent people from the technical team who are doing really great stuff. So yeah.
Okay. What are your plans for the future then?
Ooh,
yeah. If that's not too personal, of course.
Sorry?
If that's not too personal.
Oh no, it isn't. Well, it's. I think it's a funny question because it's something totally different.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm now doing my industrial design engineering masters, and I'm also working as a teacher at a high school in physics. So I really love education, and I hope I can do a little bit more about also the development in education and maybe also doing sort of research in materials, because my materials subtract is now advanced materials engineering.
Well, that's something completely
so it's
different.
totally different. But I would really like making a combination between those two. So doing research in new materials, and on the other hand, teaching people about maybe this research, but maybe also about how can we make the whole education a little bit more better, because I think there are ways to go there.
There's some room for improvement, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? I must admit, though, you do sound like you get the stereotypical spider in the web, industrial design engineer. You got marketing.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'm
technical
really
team.
interested. It's also a problem, I guess, because I'm really enthusiastic about everything. So people are like, oh yeah, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that too. So yeah, I'm not really sure yet.
But I think that is a very interesting point, because that is part of the reason why we started the whole Icarus Idea thing. I think
cool.
I have no idea what to do. Like, how do you have any tactics on choosing? Do you have any idea what to do if you like everything?
Oh, this will sound very, very cliche, but you need to follow your heart. Yeah, it's true, right? Oh, I'm here with all guys. I'm sorry.
We're stopping right now.
It's true, right? You need to do something you really like, because we need to work until we are 67 or something
or 70,
like that. Or maybe
whatever.
Longer. So yeah, if you're doing something you don't love to do, then I think it will be a hard time. And if you're doing something you really love to do, it will be so much fun. So yeah.
I've one more question regarding the solar arrays.
Mm-hmm.
What's the thing that you found the most interesting that you learned after doing this?
Oh yeah. Well, I learned a lot about the business life and working together with companies, and I got a little bit a view inside how this life looks like. So when you're studying, you're really working on projects, but it's a small project for like 10 weeks. And now you're really, for 1.5 years, you get to know a little bit more about, okay, how does a company work? How do we communicate with each other? How do we communicate with other companies? If we need something, how does that work? So that's something I really learned about this team. So you're a sort of small company, a startup sort of company, and that's also the way we work. Another thing is something very personal, but I really learned to, a little bit more time management. Like, okay, when am I going to do what, and how do I make sure that everything I need to do is done by the deadline, because there's a lot going on in the team, and the motivation of doing everything is very high. So you want to do a lot, but sometimes it's too much, and then you really need to think about, okay, how am I going to make sure that everything is done by the time it needs to be done. So that's something I learned for myself.
I kind of got a question connecting to that. I read the website of the solar team, and you're now looking for new participants, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Now, the thing is, I looked at the function that you fulfilled, because I was curious what your function was, and it said a lot about time management. You're supposed to be really good at this and keeping track of everything, you know.
Yeah.
But it also said that you, as a marketing manager, can I call it marketing manager or marketing and PR manager?
It's a little bit different function,
a bit vague
but
now, right?
that's also a function in the team. Yeah, and I did a little bit of that too.
Okay. Now it said, I don't know if you had the same team, but it said that this manager has 5 people underneath them. So there's like 2 account managers, 2 marketing and content specialists, and a marketing and events coordinator.
Yeah.
How is it to, out of nowhere, you're like third year, and then all of a sudden you're managing 5 people in a solar team? Like, how do you do that?
It's funny because we changed the functions a little bit, the positions a little bit. Mm-hmm. So in my team, we were with 4 people. And there wasn't really a communications manager, so we managed ourselves. So it wasn't really that I had like a few people I wasn't managing for people.
Check. There was no
So
hierarchy.
that will be a little bit different. It sounds really hard, I think, but it's just everybody is in the team and is equal to each other. So we have like a management team, but they are really working together with the other the technical team and the communications team. So also the communications manager, he will really work together with the people in the communications team and think together about how are we going to organize an event, or what do we want to communicate via our website, or what do we need to make of content for the social media channels. And then he is there to provide all the facilities and make sure that everybody can work out their tasks and make sure that everything is done. So it's a little bit more about keeping the overview and talking to people like, oh, is everything going well? And do you need something? Because he's also someone like, I don't know if you can say it in English, but the flying keep. I don't know.
Flying goalkeeper. I guess
Sorry. Like the extra hands in the team. So yeah.
I guess that fits better to the family vibe.
Yeah,
that
I
you
think so
described.
too. Yeah.
So I think it's time to round off.
Yeah, it's okay.
It sounds like you had like 1.5, 2 years of amazing experience.
Yeah.
Getting out of the let's say fake university life into the real world.
Yeah, it was.
And then became part of some kind of amazing high-tech family with a lot of contacts and possibilities for new projects.
Mm-hmm.
And then also are doing all kinds of other stuff on the side.
Yeah.
So that sounds pretty great. I don't hope anyone listening is intimidated by this. I think a lot of industrial design engineers can be like this.
Oh,
right?
yeah, of course. Yeah. I was maybe, okay.
Okay, just go on. Take your time.
Sorry. Well, I was coming inside this room and I talked to Jean and yours about the previous podcast. It was like, oh, there were bachelor students who made their own 3D printer and it sounds very cool. And then I was thinking, oh, but wait, I did an amazing project. We built a solar car and we drove 3,000 kilometers. So
that's also cool.
About if you're intimidated by this whole story, don't be, because everybody can do it. It's like there's so many possibilities and everybody can do epic stuff. So yeah, please do everything you like to do. Yeah, it's possible.
If you're interested, you can always contact Francis or contact the solar team for participating in the next solar challenge. And we would like to thank you for listening. And
Francis, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
it was great
thank
to
you
talk
too.
to you. Give us some feedback if you have any. Let us know what you think. And follow your heart.
And follow your heart, yeah.